Hello, 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 good people. Welcome to Happy, Healthy, Whole. I'm your host, Sharia Farmer, and I am excited to have you join me as we make healing and self care or self love a priority. So, tonight we're going to do a show on understanding depression in Black women. And we're going to really try to think about it from the perspective of the definition and healing. And so my goal is to give practical tools and techniques and skills for Black women to be able to embark on life in a way that is about healing and self-love and prioritizing their health in their journeys in their journey of life. So that being said, I want to make sure that we kind of ground ourselves in this moment by literally just preparing the mood and the moment and taking a deep breath. So I'm going to ask you for just a quick second, regardless of where you are, if you're in your car or you're on your phone or your house, you're somewhere just doing something. I just want you for a quick moment to take a few deep breaths with me. We are going to inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouths. We are only going to do it for about 3 to 10 seconds at the most, but I just want to ground us as we get ready to talk about a subject that can be heavy for a lot of us in different ways. So let's do that right now. We're going to take that deep breath through our nose and exhale through our mouths. And then I want you in this next 2 times, I want you to do the inhale, hold for about 4 seconds, and then I want you to exhale like you're almost sighing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Exhale. Let it out. All right, we're going to do this one more time, and then we are going to get started on our show today around understanding depression in Black women and just kind of healing together. One more time. Inhale through your nose. Exhale for me. All right. I hope that we are ready for a show that can help us to grow, to heal, and to really prioritize ourselves for this few moments that we are here together or in this moment together. That being said, let's start with a definition. So when we think about a definition for depression, I always think about it as more than just sad days. It's more than just a bad day where you don't feel well, but it's like this ongoing feeling of being down. It can affect things like your sleep, your mood, your interactions with others. It can affect your interpersonal skills. And in so many different ways, it looks different for each of us. So, really, when we think about the effects of sadness or depression on ourselves, we're looking at the effects of our thoughts, like how we think about the world and what next, how we think about ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. Are we good enough? Are we our whole selves, or do we feel that we can be our whole selves in all areas of our lives? And then how it interacts with our interpersonal, like our relationships, those things that we want to thrive in around connection and support. And how are we able to do that? Are we able to do that? And so for Black women, this experience can be really unique in the sense that has varying factors around how we are trained or taught to kind of navigate emotions and feelings, and also support and expression, and even the lack of expressions. There's some areas where we're really comfortable around expressing ourselves, and in other areas not so much, because it makes us feel and or look like we're not strong enough. And we're going to talk about that another time when it comes to strong enough, because I don't want to get too far going from the subject of depression specifically. So what are some things that are signs or symptoms? I really like to say symptoms of depression, because they look or can be persistently different for each of us. But you think about depression where it includes this level of sadness that you're just not able to get out of. You're not able to like move yourself or think differently when you know you would like to. Like, I want to feel better. I want to get up. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't like how I don't like myself, right? And so you lose this level of like ability to motivate your thinking out of negativity, ability to really kind of like change the patterns in your mind around what's good or bad. And so thinking about it from that perspective, you also start to lose interest in things that you would do normally, like going out, spending time with your friends, your family, feeling confident at work, feeling like you are even wanting to go to work and or be around people in general. Thinking about it from the perspective of losing that interest and then changing areas of your life that might have to do with your health, right? So things like Am I overeating? Am I undereating? Am I just not desiring or liking the taste of food? Like, what are these things that I'm doing or not doing that could be signs that I'm dealing or symptoms of depression? I always say one of the things that I've noticed when dealing with depression is that concentration sometimes is off. Not that I don't know and or can't get it back on track, but there's this level of difficulty around concentrating or staying on task or staying within the moment related to tasks. So I'm trying to read a book, can't stay focused, keep having these negative thoughts around, oh, this is just worthless. I just can't believe my life is where it is. I'm going places in my head that won't allow me to stay focused or in the moment or even present enough to do things like meditate or prayer. Right. So I'm thinking about it from that perspective. Now, again, some of these symptoms we may not experience at all, but we might want to think about things that might look like we're participating in life okay and everything's good. So things like, am I drinking more than normally? Am I looking for an outlet or overly looking to get high and or use a substance to kind of calm myself or stay out of my own thoughts? And what is that intent behind why I'm doing it? And so really thinking about the symptoms, not as it's an all of these or nothing, but looking at how is my change and my pattern of health looking different as it relates to losing interest, not having appetites, not wanting to sleep, sleeping patterns being a huge one, because sometimes we don't even realize it because we're used to not getting rest because we may be working or have a lot of jobs or a lot of things that we have to juggle as mothers or parents, right? So thinking about, is my difficulty in concentrating because I'm not getting enough rest? Is it because I'm not doing good in my thinking or thoughts around myself? And then lastly, thinking about that persistent sadness where I may not even know or have an actual idea as to where it's coming from, but it just keeps popping up for me, right? So those are just some things to think about. Some of the cultural and like social factors that I think when it comes to Black women is that we may face like additional challenges that we can't always show these things as our issues. Like we can't show people because we don't want people to think that we can't do the job. We don't think that we aren't the best mother, we aren't the best friend. And so a lot of times what we do is kind of have the stigma around people knowing or seeing that we might have an issue. And so we might have outlets that may not look like the depression that I mentioned earlier, but can be signs that I'm participating in unhealthy habits. So like I think about like food can be a demonstration of this. Alcohol and substances can be a demonstration of this. Shopping can be a demonstration of this, where it's like, I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to find these outlets that can be my distractions so that I won't get too depressed, quote unquote. But in reality, I'm already probably at a level where I'm not managing well. I'm using these as substitutions for joy and happiness. So let's think about, sometimes it looks different for us because we've been trained and or taught not to deal with it the way that traditionally might show up for others. So let's talk about some tips, because for me, it's really important that this video, or excuse me, this podcast not just be about what is the problem, but really also about what can we do to actually deal with these. And so I think when it comes to talking about and beginning the conversation around depression, that in itself is a technique for healing, because it breaks stigma. It breaks the reality that most of us and or all of us have dealt with levels of depression at different times in our lives because of trauma, because of grief, because of loss, because of so many different things that we might have to deal with or need to resolve in ourselves. So my first thought is to reach out to someone, reach out to your families, your friends. And if those aren't in place for you to do so, or you just aren't ready to let others in on that portion of what you're dealing with, reach out to professionals, get a perspective from an outsider that can help you to also create a plan that is specific to you around how to heal and how to actually take care of yourselves. I've done different videos around depression and how we eat. I've done different videos around just depression in general with Black and brown women. And so I would ask you to go to those for a little bit more detail in this area, but to think about it from the perspective that you deserve and are worth the actual healing, and also not putting yourself in a position to have to do this alone. So seek help, get the support, and don't be afraid to say, I need that help at whatever level that looks like. Before I go, I always want to say when it comes to depression, there is going to be some information in the bio, or excuse me, in the summary and description that is specific to reaching out and seeking help. If you are in an immediate emergent situation and you're in the US, you can call 988, and or you can call your local emergency and or crisis center and crisis management center to help you to guide and or to find some guidance around what you might need to get support. So that being said, take good care of yourselves. Your mental health and well-being are extremely important in how you navigate and become successful in this world, and not looking at it from just the monetary success, but just life and well-being. I hope that you honor that you deserve this. And again, take good care of yourselves, be well. Make sure that you subscribe to our podcast and or to our YouTube channel, because we would love you to follow along on this journey as we continue to support the healing of Black women and others who are just willing to love and care for us in those areas. Take good care of yourselves. Be well.